Hi everyone, welcome again to another Teacher Joseph video clip. And today we are talking about Indigenous languages. And some of you may have been surprised to learn that here in the UK we have a few: Welsh, Scottish Gaelic, Ulster, Northern Ireland Gaelic, Manx Gaelic on the Isle of Man, Cornish, which looks a lot like Welsh, and there's also a tiny one around Newcastle, although I'm not sure if it has any official status. I know it's tiny. So those are a few things for you to investigate if you're interested. In the coming days, there will be more video clips of this area and evidence of Gaelic or not, as we'll see in our clips. But today, I just want to focus in a little bit more on the local language here, just to give you some examples of how we use it and also maybe why it's becoming so popular, what this renaissance is. Because as I was mentioning, or as I will mention, maybe in my next video clip, we're told it's everywhere, it's coming back, it's great. But when you look around closely, there isn't actually that much evidence of it. Yeah, it's appearing on signs in train stations, and yeah, it has its own radio and TV channel, but unless you go looking for it, you might, well, miss it. Now, in the English-speaking world, particularly around things like language, if we think about America, America is full of immigrants. Well, so is Britain, but it doesn't really have a real history because all those immigrants came in at a particular moment. And American people are always looking back to where they came from. They always talk about their ancestors coming from Scotland or Ireland. And here in the UK, if you are British, it's fairly common for an American to approach you in some way to tell you that they're researching their family history. I regularly get emails from Americans, and they're telling me, oh, I'm trying to find information on my great 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 grandfather, and I've discovered from the Scottish public records that your great 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 grandfather and him were two brothers. Do you know anything about him? This is very common for us. Likewise, if we're walking around town, you might see a couple of Americans who are here trying to find anything related to where their family came from, particularly in cemeteries, libraries, that they're very keen to try to understand more of where they come from. So I'm telling you all of this because it seems to be Americans who really are keen to keep Gaelic alive. And if you are interested in the indigenous language of Gaelic particularly, uh, you may well have more luck looking at Canadian resources, American resources, even Australia, where you'll find podcasts, radio shows. Here, we do have obviously a Gaelic TV channel and radio channel, but I'm not sure many people are so interested. People are just trying to work, get on with their life, and they don't often associate themselves with Gaelic. They don't think about it because growing up, it wasn't part of their experience. I can tell you that my great, 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 great grandparents, they came from the Highlands of Scotland and they spoke Gaelic. They moved to the south and they kept Gaelic alive, I think, for 1 or 2 generations, and then, of course, it got lost. So it's in my ancestry, which makes it important for me. We do have Gaelic books around. Here's one that I found in my book cupboard when I was looking for the what was I looking for last week? Do you remember? Oh yes, I was clearing out the cupboard because the gas engineer was coming, and I came across this. Gaelic is fun. Yeah, it's just a little easy book if you're interested in the Indigenous language. Here's another one. This is a book for students. And I just want to show you the text because it looks completely different from English. Let me just, you can see that there. Rorag, it says, Avelugen, the first few words. So very, very different from English. It doesn't look anything related to English. So you can see it's very, very different. And if you are interested in Scottish mythology and Irish mythology, and uh, the way we lived before organized religion came, about old gods, witches, and these kind of things, this is a great book. It's in English. It's called The Gaelic Otherworld. So if you like stories of what Scottish people or Celtic people believed, this is a really nice book. This is uh, a text that was written in, I think, the 1700s, and somebody has gathered all the superstitions together and edited them. Uh, so originally, this was John Gregerson Campbell wrote this, and it's been edited by Ronald Black. So a very good book if you're interested in Gaelic living and Gaelic life and Celtic mythology and all of these things. So as you can see, there is a big Gaelic kind of presence, but it's kind of up to you to find it because it's not obvious. And another question is, who's pushing that? Where is that coming from? It seems, or it feels kind of political. It doesn't seem natural because, when something comes naturally, there's usually poetry, creativity, art. But I'm not feeling that. I'm feeling something else. Gaelic is just appearing, one day to the next. It's just here, especially when we see it uh, on public vehicles like the police and boats. It's like one day everything is in English, the next everything is in Gaelic. It's a little bit strange that, but I think it's just the way in which it's being presented, which is rather political. Well, I love Gaelic, and in fact, I have a plan to study it more. I'm hoping to go to university to study this year from September. I don't know if that's going to happen. If it does, I'll need to change my schedule online a little bit for teaching, but I'll keep you updated if that's going to happen or not. Um, yeah, that's really all I wanted to say today about our minority language. But I also just want to go over our affirmation of today. And our affirmation of today, if you haven't seen it already, is let's see now. Learning English is my choice and it is fun. And this is back to what I always tell you, that it's good to check your joy level because your joy level is going to guide you. And if at any point you feel that it's not fun or you're not enjoying it, you have a right to ask why. And there's nothing worse than torturing yourself with something that you really don't want to do. So your joy level will always be a great guide. So in terms of Gaelic and Indigenous languages, people learn them because it brings them joy and it connects them back in to their past and to their ancestry. Also, as organized religion falls away from us again, people are looking to earlier, more primitive belief systems. And Gaelic, of course, was all about the worship of nature. There were Druids, there were Celtic people with great respect. It was very green, and I'm sure climate activists would love that. So people are looking back to see what's there, and I think that's a great attraction uh, for them, at least for some people, because Gaelic kind of opens a doorway into a world that's long lost and all its beliefs that went with that. There are still some superstitions around here which come directly from the Gaelic world. But if you're interested in that kind of thing, do try to get a hold of this book, The Gaelic Otherworld. It's not the easiest read. It's quite a tough book because it has a lot of Gaelic phrases in it, but it is very good, especially for those of you who are academic or looking beyond um, your English into the next level. Well, that's it from me. I hope you've enjoyed this. Do try to remember to check your joy level, because if at any point you're feeling that English just isn't right for you, you have a right to try to correct that. Um, Try to connect English with something in your life. If you keep English over here while you're working over here and the two things aren't matching, it's going to be very difficult. The secret with all of these things is always integration, how to bring things in to your daily life. All right, that's it from me. I hope you've enjoyed this. Let's talk soon. See ya. Bye.